far. Don't stop now. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe and home? So that I count in days until a second go. If you're gonna make a change, you have to let me know. Turn this shit around, start to top the notes. It's all you need to do. Don't stop now. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe and home? So that I count in days until a second go. If you're gonna make a change, you have to let me know. Turn this shit around, start to top the notes. It's all you need to do. thought that we'd go this far. Don't stop now. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe and home? Together counting days until the second glow. If you're gonna make a change, you have to let me know. Turn this shit around, start it up beyond. It's all you need to do.
What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, and good morning and welcome back to another Good Morning Tottenham. And we've got smiles on our faces this time. It's great to bring you these things after a win, especially after a long international break as well. Obviously, we ruined the party up in the Northeast yesterday with a 3-2 win against Newcastle, which, you know, was probably a straightforward win, wasn't it, yesterday? Pretty much.
Not as straightforward as it should have been.
Yeah, I mean, apart from the first 5 minutes when we were really under pressure, I mean, and apart from that last minute own goal, pretty much, it was plain sailing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I thought we dominated. I thought we really, it was the most dominant performance I think we've had this season, where we really didn't give the opposition a chance. I thought defensively we really pushed really high up, really aggressive, pressing really effectively. It was a delight to see at times us knocking the ball around, playing really nice, pretty football. The only annoying thing for me is in the second half, playing a lot of nice football without really hurting the opposition. It was always too easy for us. You know, there are some games where it's like, there are some games where you have so much possession and the opposition have absolutely nothing, where it's so easy that you kind of let your guard down. And that's kind of how I felt was in the second half, because the chances, we didn't create anywhere near enough chances in the second half that we should have done for the possession we had.
I would say that a proper outfit yesterday, a proper really strong outfit yesterday would have battered Newcastle 4-5-0 yesterday.
Yeah, we should have got the fourth and the fifth goal, absolutely. And that's a bit of a frustration. And obviously it nearly cost us at the end, and that's even more frustrating because that can happen in football. If when you have that period of such serious domination, you can't just rest your laurels and think the whole game is going to just be like that. We've seen it so many
times, haven't we?
Exactly. The amount of times you've just been in complete control, and then something happens, like the Dyer incident, and even with 10 men, it's like that happens, and then another slice of luck, and it's 3-3. You know what I mean? and that can happen. So you got to make sure you can make the game out of sight at that point. And we didn't quite do that. I don't think we obviously took the game to Newcastle. We didn't put them to the sword, I don't feel, in the second half, as much as we dominated and we were playing nice football. And yeah, we didn't give them a chance.
XG yesterday of 1.5.
Yeah, it wasn't enough. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
And
like
they had an XG of 0.5.
Yeah, so I think we restricted them really well, but I think it was almost too easy to stop them. That's why we didn't kind of move forward with our own attacking and enough in terms of really trying to get that next goal. So that's the only frustrating thing. But I think in the first half we were really clinical. I don't think we were creating tons of chances, but we stopped them creating. We were dominating the ball, and then when we had the opportunities to open them up, we did, and we did so clinically and ruthlessly, which was really good to see.
Definitely. Do you think now this is the kind of the last two games, 4-2, 3-1? This is the blueprint now of a Nuno side to move forward into the season now.
Yeah, I think that
it's clearly working a lot better than 4-3-3. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think having Ndombele a bit further forward, having that protection of Skip and Højbjerg in the pivot, mopping things up, and obviously having Højbjerg a bit more free, like bit of a box-to-box role, and having Skip just sit there in front of the back four. It's giving us much better balance. I do feel like, once we come up against a much better side, we'll see how it fares, because obviously Villa is a good side, and we did really well against them. And then obviously Newcastle, it's hard to judge. They're 19th, and I know they had they seemed up for it, but once we scored our first goal, I think reverted to type yesterday, Newcastle. So I still think there might be some issues with this team along the way against better teams. But I think for now, I think that Nuno's got a very nice balance in the team against either the bottom 10 or like teams of similar quality to us. I think the balance is right where we're very, very solid, and we know we have superior quality in the front line to most teams. Most teams would love Kane and Son and players like Lucas and Ndombele. So if we get them in situations where they've got space to play with and they're linking up together, and they've got a base at the back where they're not worried about losing the ball all the time and tracking back, because they know they've got a solid base behind them, which allows also the fullbacks to go forward. I think the balance is a lot better. It's a lot better, and that's positive. But with Skip and Højbjerg, as much as I love them, I think they're playing very, very well at the moment. It remains to be seen whether, when they're really put under pressure, they can handle beating presses and stuff like that and progressing the ball under serious pressure, because they're great players off the ball, but on the ball, I think they've done great. But are they? Is it good enough? It's good enough to be better than what we were doing before, but is it good enough to really be challenging for top four? I think that still remains to be seen. We still need a player in the centre, I feel, who can really be on the half turn and progress the ball forward. And they're good at getting the ball forward under no pressure, but under pressure, we'll have to wait and see. I don't think they've been proper tested yet.
Fair, that's a fair point. And on the fullbacks, Reguilon yesterday, I thought, it's definitely close to, if not the best performance from him in a Spurs shirt, in my opinion. What did you make out of his performance? And can you name a performance from him that's been better than that in a Spurs shirt?
Not off the top of my head, but I think it was good. It was a really good performance from Reguilon. He looked really attacking, really. He looked really direct going forward. He was taking on his man. He was looking confident. Defensively, he didn't have much trouble, but except for obviously the first goal where he was, we'll go through it in a minute, but he was doubled up on. I think he had a really great game going forward. Still want to. Yeah, we're back. All right, sorry about that. As I was saying about Reguilon, I think he played really well. Was it his best performance in the Spurs shirt? I can't remember any better on the top of my head, but I'm not so sure if it was his best. You know, he didn't get any assists. I think he probably has had better performances, but I still think he played really well. I think he played really well.
The only downside to his performance yesterday was probably his delivery in the box. I didn't think that was too good.
Yeah,
he was
could have been a bit better.
He was getting in the great positions time and time again and attacking their fullbacks.
Got Shelby sent off as well.
Yeah, and he got Shelby sent off, Lord Voldemort himself. So I think that really good performance from Reguilon, and I think the way he impacted that game, I personally think it's definitely up there. Maybe not the out-and-out best, but definitely up there with one of his best performances in the Spurs shirt, that's for sure.
Yeah, and he seemed very, very confident. He seemed very confident providing the outlet, and he was able to go forward. And I think as well, having that pivot of Højbjerg and Skip gives not confidence to the forward players, but also confidence to the fullbacks to get forward a bit more, and knowing they have a bit of protection if they do lose the ball, and not being too worried about being caught out of position, which I think was a big worry.
Oh, he got an assist yesterday, Reguilon.
For which goal?
For Ndombele's.
Oh, yeah, he did get an assist, to be fair. That was, he got an assist. Yeah,
an assist's an assist.
To be fair, he actually did really well for that goal, actually, thinking about it. Because it was a great touchdown from Dyer's pass, and then passed it into Ndombele, who he still had a lot to do in Ndombele, didn't he? But it was
can we talk about Sonny's goal, please?
Yeah.
That goal.
What a great goal.
What a goal.
goal.
That touch from Lucas Moura to get it past that defender or whoever it was, to play it into Harry Kane, and Harry Kane just a lovely slot it into Heung-min Son.
Should we go through the goals?
Let's go through them.
Let's go through. So I've got like a few screenshots we can analyze how we think what happened with each goals and stuff. And so, all right, let's bring up. This is the first goal. First thing I want to mention with the first goal is Joel Linton passes it here to Willock, and I'm not really sure why. Like, Skip is around like that area. I don't know why he's not so tight to Willock. But look, if at that point you think the defense is all like nice and settled, like this is in the first minute, you don't think there's too many issues here. Mm-hmm. But once we get out to say Maximam, all of a sudden Reguilon, Manquillo overlaps. Son's not really tracking. Skip doesn't get out wider because he's thinking about Joe Willock over here. So, one sec. He's thinking about Joe Willock over here. So he's not going out wide to say Maximam, who is the danger man. Son's not really tracking the fullback, which leaves a 2-on-1 over here between Reguilon. Oh, my drawing's not the best. Draw Reguilon and say Maximam over there.
Don't have Jamie Carragher's drawing skills.
Yeah, I need a pen or something.
This should be doing on the iPad.
Yeah, but so that leaves a 2-on-1. So Reguilon doesn't really know who to go with, because if he goes with Manquillo, then you also got all that space for say Maximam there. But if he goes to say Maximam, obviously Manquillo ends up doing neither, and obviously Manquillo gets a free run. But in this position, you're thinking, look, there's 3 here. There's 3 there, and there's 3 here. But Dyer's not really marking anyone. Dyer's at the front post marking no one. Then there's a 3-on-2 at the back post there. Obviously, he doesn't go to the back post, but once Manquillo gets the ball, Romero's actually in a good position against Wilson, but he's not really aware of his surroundings, which is
that's
why
the
Wilson
thing with
gets
Romero, yeah.
But why is there why is Dyer? I feel like the defense is a bit all over the place, because why is there a 3-on-2 at the back there? Joe Linton's there. Joe Linton's here, absolutely free if he finds him. If he goes across, because Emerson, I think, is marking here, Longstaff. Romero's got Wilson. Dyer's just got no one. So that, I think, that had to be probably sorted out before. And obviously they got the goal. Wilson got in front of Romero, and they got a goal out of it. I think it got sorted out generally throughout the game. But the first goal, the defence was a bit of a shambles, wasn't it?
Yeah, it looks as though literally everyone's being pulled all over the place. I mean, Dyer's just in complete no man's land there, isn't he? Mm-hmm. And like you said, Romero's in a good position, but doesn't have any awareness that Wilson's coming off the back of him.
There he is. He's watching. You can clearly see he's watching the ball, and he's not looking over his shoulder to where Wilson
and Emerson
is.
as well is not really aware of what's going on with these 2 players here, but he's got 2 players on him.
Yeah. So the defender was a bit of a shambles for the opening 2 minutes. Thankfully, it didn't carry on that way. Then again, Newcastle didn't get into too many opportunities.
That's the thing. That's the thing. After that 5 minutes of dominance, they had nothing pretty much.
How many more times did Manquillo get forward like that? I can't remember too many times.
I don't think any.
So this is our first goal. Eric Dyer obviously plays really nice. Where is it? Plays a really nice ball over there to Reguilon. It's a really nice ball actually, because he takes it down really effectively. He's there. Ndombele obviously makes that run into this kind of area once Reguilon takes it down, and he does really well with his close control, because that defender's quite close to him here. This defender here is quite close to Reguilon, so if his touch isn't great, Manquillo's going to intercept him. But because his close control was so good, he was able for Ndombele to make that run in just on the edge of the box. And obviously, once he gets there, it's a great finish. It's a great finish into the far corner. And
Unbelievable finish.
Not quite like that. There we go. Nice finish into the far corner by Ndombele, but not too many men around him, so he did have a lot of space.
He did.
That's Lascelles there, so close. There's no Hayden that close to him or any defensive. There's no midfielder. Midfielder's not in sight really when he's there.
It's just such a fantastic finish, though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Absolutely fantastic. What was it? One touch and bang.
but it's very rare against the better sides. He's going to
Yeah,
have so
of
much
course.
space on the edge of the box.
Of course.
To get a finish like that. So I think that's something to note. But also, it was a great finish to bend it round Lascelles there into the far corner. Wasn't the easiest of finishes. This is the Harry Kane, obviously offside. I've got to say, the Højbjerg's pass not getting anywhere near enough credit, I don't think. Here he is here in the centre. I think, obviously the line is terrible by Newcastle. Manquillo definitely keeping Kane on side here. But for Højbjerg to pick out that pass through to Harry Kane there over the top, really impressive because he gets it. He literally cancels out two banks of four, just with one pass through the centre, and he is starting to really show off a bit of his on-the-ball ability.
And that's exactly what I was talking about in the post-match fan show as well, with Ollie Skip just like sitting there in the base and just letting people strut their stuff. So that doesn't happen probably if Ollie Skip's not protecting the back four and stuff.
Yeah, I reckon. Because I think obviously there's Ollie Skip here, and there's Ollie Skip there just behind him. And I think if Højbjerg doesn't have Skip there and he has another player in front of him, I think he would be tempted just to go a bit shorter with the fear of losing the ball, kind of thing, without having
because he's got the
confidence.
protection behind him. He knows that he can do stuff more expansively.
Do you reckon I can draw a straight enough line to see if it's offside or not?
The line's on the grass anyway.
The line's on the grass, exactly. But it was definitely onside. I think he timed his run to perfection.
It was definitely onside.
And then obviously, I also think with Harry Kane, the ball comes running through, and if you notice, he doesn't take a touch. He waits for the key. He doesn't even look at the keeper. He kind of feels like the keeper's coming, even behind him. And I think before the international break, we saw a few times against Villa. When he was going through on goal, he just seemed a bit hesitant and he was taking too many touches and ended up screwing the chance. But with this finish, I think it's a bit more evidence of the confidence of Harry Kane coming back, because he doesn't take a touch, he knows where the keeper is, and he just effortlessly lobs it over him without thinking again.
It's
Pure
instinct.
That's where Kane is at his best. I remember when he went through that run of not scoring in his first 9 games. I remember it wasn't that he wasn't trying or anything. It was just every time he got the ball, he was overthinking it. I remember everyone was saying it. He's overthinking it, taking too many touches. He's not doing things on instinct. He's not getting shots off purely based on when instinctively he thinks is the right moment. He's thinking too much about when to shoot and things like that. And when he's at his best, Harry Kane, it's when he doesn't have too much time to think about it. He just gets his shot off on instinct, and he knows where the goal is. And I think that's what showed again yesterday.
Yeah, I completely agree. And last season as well, not just his finishing instinct, but his crossing instinct. And sometimes, like you say, it's just complete split second decisions, like those crosses for the Southampton goals. Remember last season when we beat Southampton 5-2?
Yeah, that was it, pure instinct.
You know what I mean?
He knows where Son is and just instinct.
Exactly, that's what I'm trying to say. So I think you're absolutely right. That is where Kane is completely at his best, not just in front of goal, but assisting as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. So I think that showed a bit more of it yesterday. And then for the third goal, let's talk about the third goal. So it really was a great team move, the third goal. So you got like Ndombele here. And he's got 3 men around him here in Ndombele. Trying to get the... Yeah, there you go. But it's 3 men around him, and he's got Lucas obviously in support. Not much support there. He couldn't... Oh, Kane's there. He's offside. He's got obviously Lucas behind him. But because Tongi is such a great great dribbler, he somehow manoeuvres the dribble to get into this position, turning away from Willock in effortless fashion, like as if he wasn't there, which is always so impressive about Tongi. So he literally manoeuvres the ball, so all 3 men are all of a sudden behind him, and he's got Lucas to pass into over here, which is very, very impressive. Obviously, he's got Lucas to pass into there. Lucas obviously has Hayden challenging him, and then he dinks it around him, which was a brilliant touch.
What a bit of skill
Unbelievable
that was.
touch
That was really
it was
good.
by Lucas Moura, but it was a great link up between him and Tongi. And then he's in this position. He takes a touch around Hayden, but you got to say this is a difficult pass as well because
Slips it right in, doesn't it?
You got
right on the money, Lucas.
Right through there to Harry Kane, but you got 3 men. He's got to avoid in getting to this pass.
Threading through the eye of the needle, mate.
So it was quite effective to get Kane obviously well onside. This player here who's marking Son. Son obviously in a dangerous position. He's keeping Kane well onside. And then once Kane is in behind, there's Son. All he has to do is very simple. All Son has to do is peel away. Kane gets the ball across the face of goal, and there you go. Easy does it.
Yeah.
But it's a great team goal. I thought Lucas and Ndombele...
That was all
Kane
about
and Son all doing
Ndombele
well.
and Lucas, really, that goal. It really was. I mean, like you said, the way Ndombele turned away from those 3 players, the way Lucas threaded it through just after that mad bit of skill he did, I mean, that was all made by those 2 players, that goal.
Yeah, it was
and
brilliant.
Sensational. Both of those, to be honest, it was a great team performance yesterday. I thought there wasn't a bad performer on the pitch yesterday.
Just only one real serious blot, and that was the next goal.
Yeah.
And that was obviously Eric Dyer. And if you can see here, for the goal, obviously, this is the own goal. Eric Dyer here, no one's challenging him. He's got no one really around him. Joe Linton's getting marked there by Harry Kane. At the back post, Emerson's got that covered. So he doesn't really have anything to worry about. He's just got the ball to deal with. That's all he has to worry about. And it's at a decent height for him to deal with it. He's got a lot of time. But look how low the ball is here. Why is he trying? I don't understand.
I'm sorry, a lot of people have been saying this. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people saying, "Oh, you can't blame Eric Dyer for that. It's a complete.
You can blame him for that.
It's a complete. What's it called? It's just one of those things." And I was like, "Come on, man. He's completely unchallenged. He goes for a header. It hits his knee, and then it goes into the back of the net in our own net. Of course, you can blame Eric Dyer. It's so clumsy.
He could have easily volleyed that. He could have easily volleyed that just out for a corner or away from goal. And he decides to go. I don't know. First of all, if he does head that. Where's he heading it to? You know what I mean? Where's that going? Is he trying to cushion that back to the keeper? You know, what's the plan here if he does head it? So I think heading, even if it was like a decent height, I'm not sure where a header leads him. Maybe he's thinking to head it out of goal, out of play like there, but even there is like a risk. So I don't know why he goes for the head, but it's also so low down. Look how low down the ball is. How is he looking to head that? Obviously, it hits his knee. It does obviously hit his knee and just goes past Lloris there. And obviously led up to a nervy finish. But Eric Dyer,
he might be just planning to head it out to like Lucas Moura out on the wing or something. Something like that, just to relieve a bit of pressure.
Away like here?
Yeah.
I don't see that. His head...
Or a bit more square.
But even that's dangerous with players.
Yeah, it's dangerous, but a lot less dangerous than what he did.
Yeah, obviously he got it in the back of the net. But look, in terms of Eric Dyer, I want to say that I did think in general he had a really good game yesterday, and I think a lot of the criticism is over the top because of the manner of the goal. Because in general, I did think he had a great game, but
we've said it so many times. It's the same story.
It was very similar to last season against Newcastle. He had a great game that game, and then last minute he gives away a handball.
Exactly.
And like it just happens so often with Eric Dyer, where he's playing really well, and he's having a really solid game. And I think not only off his aggression and defending, I think on the ball as well, he was really big. Reason of us progressing the ball forward in good positions and getting the ball forward well. But he obviously makes that mistake that gives it a nervy finish, which should never really have come to pass.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And Eric Dyer, it's just the same thing over and over again, really. Like you say, has good game and then just lets us down, really. And we still have to persist with him, don't we, at centre back with Romero alongside him, in my opinion.
I think because he's obviously him and Romero are the most comfortable players on the ball as well. Allows us a bit more domination when we have the ball. So I think that's one of the main reasons we have to persist with it for the time being and try and get him to cut out those mistakes as much as possible. I wouldn't drop him after that just because of that mistake. I think it sends out the wrong message.
I think Jose might have.
I don't think he would have after a win. A win. I think if that would have cost us a result, I think he might have. But I think after a win like that, I think it sends out the wrong. If Nuno would drop him because of that, I think it sends out the wrong message.
I think we got to go same lineup against West Ham, don't we?
Because he played well. You can't bash him for something. I know he shouldn't. It was a lapse of concentration from Dyer, but it wasn't because. It was just one of those things. Like obviously it was a terrible mistake, and you can definitely blame him for it because he wasn't thinking right. But it wasn't like a defensive structural thing or where something he wasn't aware or lack of awareness or anything like that. It was just it was like a freak thing.
Yeah,
which it was. But
how many freak things happened with Eric?
It was
Dyer?
A freak thing that he should have avoided because it was a freak thing he got himself
clumsy.
into.
It was
pure
definitely
clumsy, but. I don't think it sends the right message after having a good game like that and us winning the game that you drop him because at the end he screwed up like that. I wouldn't drop. I don't think that sends the right
And under
message.
Nuno, he doesn't really have previous like that yet.
Yeah.
So, in Nuno's eyes, he doesn't really deserve to be dropped just yet. But yeah, as Sai says in the comments, it's the constant freak Dyer that always happens and that always rears its ugly head at some point during a season. We've got a few super chats to get to. First, the Spurs Daniel says, top four reasonable thoughts on Dyer. Well, we've just given our thoughts on Dyer. And in terms of top four, I don't think we can talk about top four. We've just won 2 games against Villa and Newcastle.
Yeah,
I mean, it's way too early and too... I can't see us getting top 4 this year. I just can't. Bob Spurs...
Well, the way United are going, you never know.
Yeah, you never know. There could be an extra spot there.
They keep Ollie.
Look, we'll have to see about that. But Bob Spur TV says, thoughts on Ginola Redknapp going in on Levy, lads?
Yeah, I haven't actually watched it.
I
haven't actually watched it yet.
Yeah, me neither, unfortunately.
I don't know what I know Redknapp was going in about how many rebuilds Levy's had, but I haven't really seen the whole conversation. But I'm glad if they. I don't know why they picked yesterday to go on Levy, but yeah, I think we all know Levy deserves a lot of criticism. So
Redknapp was like digging in to Levy for being like a selling man, right, and always selling our biggest assets, Modric, Kyle Walker, Berbatov, all these players, and then he was digging into Levy for not selling Kane. It was the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. He was like, oh, and yeah, Daniel Levy always sells his best players and always takes the money. And then he goes, oh, but I thought it was strange that he didn't take the money for Harry Kane. I thought
he just wants Kane out of that club, doesn't he?
It's ridiculous.
He wants him to join Man City. That's the whole thing.
Yeah. But why does Jamie Redknapp want? He's just still got a chip on his shoulder, doesn't he?
He does. He always has something negative to say about Tottenham ever since he left. Every time. He can never be fully
Ever
positive.
since his dad got sacked, really.
Yeah, that was it. Sorry, not he left. Ever since his dad got sacked, I mean, all the time. Because I remember when his dad was in charge, he was proper, full-on Tottenham. Like everything Tottenham.
He was bloody Tottenham captain for a time.
I know, but when his dad was manager, I remember, what was it, when we played Arsenal and he was celebrating in the Sky Studio, bashing on the glass and everything, he was going crazy after we got a result. And they never had him in the studio for a while for Spurs games after that. Because he was too Spurs, I remember someone said.
Another super chat here from Spurs Daniel saying we need a world-class centre-back hopefully soon. And yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think we need to definitely bring in a new centre-back alongside Romero. But that's not going to come till the summer, is it? We're not going to sign one in January, let's be honest.
I'm again liking the look of Romero. After a shaky start, to be fair, I think he, again, was so imperious at the back. And it's so refreshing to see the way he defends, not just waiting for people to go at him. He's always on the front foot, always looking for an opportunity to read the game and intercept the ball, and he's always looking at when the pass is coming close to him so he can intercept it. And it's really refreshing to see because I feel like we've been defending so deep for the past couple of years that it's always the case where it's so easy to get the ball to for the opposition to get the ball to their forward line. So easy, and Romero is stopping that completely now. He's saying, look, you're not going to find it so easy to pass through the lines. You're not going to find it easy to get for your forwards anymore. That's stopping now.
The thing is, though, the way he plays, mistakes will happen. Mistakes
it's risky, but of course it will happen. But it's better that he makes a few mistakes over a course of a season than
to be what we were before.
Exactly. Than for us to allow their attackers so much possession of the ball, and it's just a matter of time before they come up with something. You know what I mean? So I think look, there's no defender who's never going to make a mistake ever. And I think the way you play like that, I think you have to kind of write mistakes into the game, because 9 times out of 10, it's a bit like when Lloris used to come flying out under Pochettino.
Yeah.
Like, once out of every 10 he would fuck it up and they'll create a chance. But 9 times out of 10 he cuts the attack before it even starts, and that's so vital.
Yeah, definitely. Look, we're going to get through the press conference in a second, and then it's going to be your time to have your say. So the call-in link is in the community section. Looking forward to hearing all your opinions on the game yesterday. But shall we have a look at the press conference? I haven't seen it yet. It's only 2 minutes.
Yeah, let's just play it.
It was going to be noisy and
I can't hear.
Newcastle, all surrounding with the club will going to come strong. But after that, we react. We can see.
We'll get back to that in a sec. I'll try and sort out the audio for Nuno's presser. Why AE families is Romero's mistakes don't really mean we concede. It's just stupid tackles and harmless mistakes. I wouldn't say it's harmless, but
What's that?
Romero's mistakes. I think it can lead to opportunities for the opposition, but it also, first of all, it doesn't always lead to guaranteed goals when he makes a mistake. And we know, like, when he gets the ball or makes that challenge, it definitely leads to a chance not going in. So I think it's the costs and the benefit analysis. You've got to say the benefits outweigh the costs a lot of the time. They come to those things.
Definitely.
A lot of people saying Rodon as well. Why is Rodon? Yeah.
Like Rodon, for some reason, I mean, I'm a fan of Rodon, right? But for some reason, each and every manager seems to outcast him. And I don't get it. I really don't.
The only manager who really gave him an opportunity, really, at the moment has been Mourinho.
Yeah.
And
even under Mourinho,
and
he was
even under
outcasted
Mourinho,
for a bit.
yeah. Under Mourinho, it was a weird one, because obviously we signed him as our 4th choice centre back in the summer for a modest fee, and then he never really got a look in until like December time. Because, to be fair, he didn't get a look in. Well, I don't think it's necessarily because of him. To be fair, he didn't really get a look in because we were defending quite well. You know, Dyer, Sanchez and Alderweireld, you know, we were flying high. December, we were top of the league. And we were actually defending quite well that time. So it's fair enough we didn't get a look in then. And then once they all started making mistakes, Rodon then got an opportunity. It was his debut, obviously, against Chelsea. I think that was because of injuries and suspensions or whatever, but he got a clean sheet, although he made a mistake. Then he played against Liverpool, where he didn't have a great game. And then he got ousted again for a bit. Then he was coming in flits and spurts. And then he did get a run just before Mourinho got sacked. He was there consistently for 4 or 5 games in a row.
He was playing pretty well.
And although Spurs weren't defending the best as a team, he was kind of he was probably our best defender during that time. He was the one who was really stopping the getting blocks in and getting crosses out, and he looked imperious with his aerial battles and stuff like that. And on the ball, he can look quite confident. But then ever since that run, Mourinho got sacked.
The only time he played was Crystal Palace.
We haven't seen him since. Right? We haven't seen him since. Yeah, Palace was the only time.
And he played well that game as well.
And he only played because he had to come on.
Yeah, and I thought he did pretty well for the time when him and Tanganga were our centre-back options.
He only struggled once Davis came on, so he did do quite well. And to be fair, he was doing quite well before with Davis until Davis gave away a penalty.
Yeah.
And then it all went to shit once the 1-0 down.
Exactly. So I think he's getting a bit of a bad go at things at the moment. I think he deserves more of a chance. I really do.
I do feel bad for him.
But having said that, I don't think I'd take Dyer out of the team for him as of yet.
No, not just yet. I think Dyer needs to. Because I think Dyer also as much as we don't like to we criticise him and stuff. He is the most senior centre back in the team. He does bring that a bit of experience and leadership that we need, and Romero, as good as he is, which I think he's an amazing defender, looks like a real gem. He's still only 23. He's still, needs. I think he might need a leader by his side. I don't think you want two very young centre backs together leading the line. So I think you need maybe a bit more experience there with him. And I think maybe it helps having Dyer next to him.
A few super chats to get through. One from Spurs, Daniel, saying De Ligt or Skriniar hopefully in the summer. I wouldn't hold your breath on that one. And
yeah, I wouldn't, definitely not.
And Toby Bartram says, as a fellow Spurs fan, should Ali and Dyer leave? Well, I'm guessing he said.
Spurs fan, should Ali and Dyer leave? Dele, I think should. The way things are going, just because I think he needs a new fresh start. I think things for him at Tottenham, it's just cyclical at the moment. It seems to be going in circles. Bad form, comes out of the team promises he's trying hard and wants to get back to his best and all that kind of stuff. Then gets back in the team, has a few decent games, and it all goes flat again. And then he comes out of the team, and then it's like what? Then the cycle starts again. And I think he needs to break that cycle with it. I don't know whether it's a move. He needs a fresh set of eyes or something.
I think he needs a new environment. To be honest, I think he's too comfortable in his surroundings.
Or maybe he needs to go to a team where they're gonna kind of mask his flaws by giving him a bit more freedom up front.
Even the loan move could work for him, in my opinion. Look how it worked for Jesse Lingard. You know what I mean? He went to West Ham. He completely flourished, and he came back to Man United. Yeah, he might not be getting in the team at Man United, but every time he plays really well for United, and he scores goals. Doesn't he?
He looks like a much better player.
That's what I'm saying. So I think he needs to go on loan, maybe to a Premier League side, maybe to abroad, just to rejuvenate himself, or just sell him. One of the two.
Yeah, because I just think Dele now. I think obviously we all know at his best. Dele, we kind of had a team around him where he could just be that
he had
the extra
partnerships
guy
all over the pitch at that time. He had partnership with Eriksen, great partnership with
It's
Kane.
interesting to hear Ledley King talk about it as well recently.
Well, I didn't hear what he said.
Ledley King, an interview. Where was it? Ledley King on Dele. It was, I think, yesterday. Let me try to see if I can get these quotes up. Here we go. He said, Ledley King on Dele Alli said, for me, it's up to Dele how much he wants to get out of himself. They have played 4-2-3-1 enough times, and he can be that third guy essentially. But his game is about arriving in the box, the timing. That's his gift, timing and finishing. I have said that before, and I think he's missed Eriksen a little bit in the team. He was someone who could find and play the pass from distance, and I'm not sure any other midfield players can pick out his runs the same way Eriksen did, unless it's Harry Kane dropping deep. I think he has suffered a little bit with that, and now he's got to find a way to get back and improve his game, but it's been tough for a few years now with him.
Which is actually spot on, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, and that's what we've always said about Dele and his partnership with Eriksen, and it was also what we've said a lot of the time about our creativity and players in our midfield. As much as I know, I know in Ndombele and Lo Celso, I do think they're decent passers, but I don't think like Dele's saying in terms of being in deep positions. For example, remember that assist Eriksen got in the FA Cup semi-final for Dele in that goal, one of the best assists of all time. There's no one in that squad apart from maybe Harry Kane who was even close to capable of making that pass. No one is capable of having that vision. Even Ndombele, who I think has good vision, he's good at playing. I think he's very good at playing through balls in tight spaces and stuff like that. I don't think he has the vision to play long-range crosses like that, like Eriksen used to do. I don't think anyone.
I think on the floor is his forte, Ndombele.
Yeah, he doesn't do for example, those two assists he got when we beat Chelsea in the 2-0, right? When we ended their unbeaten run. Those crosses, there's no one in the squad who can do that.
There's no one that can pick the ball up in that kind of space, like on the edge of the area, a bit to the right, a bit to the left, exactly, and just lob it in there and put it on his head. You know what I mean? There's no one that can do that right now in the squad. You're completely right. And like you said, the only one that can do it is Harry Kane, but we need Harry Kane in the box.
Exactly. So I think Ledley's absolutely spot on when he said I think he's
Lo Celso should be able to do that. That's the player that should be able to do it.
Yeah. Haven't seen it.
He's the one that I really expect more from in those areas of the pitch.
I agree. I agree. Are we going to try again with the press conference, or yeah? All right, should we try again? All right, let's listen to what Nuno's got to say.
No.
Can't hear it.
The atmosphere was going to be
No.
noisy and.
To be honest, I think Waqas might be a problem because I can't hear anything either. And it does that sometimes.
Okay. Or if I play it through mine? No, probably maybe not.
They can hear it, but
They can hear it, can they?
I can't even hear it.
They said we can hear it.
They can
yeah,
hear it.
they
All right,
can
just
hear
play it anyway. Just play it, and
All right,
we
just
won't be
play
able to react to it, but at least they can watch it.
The atmosphere was going to be noisy and Newcastle, all surrounding with the club will kind of come strong. But after that, we react. We can see the goal, but we react really well. And we react in a calm way, in the way we play, in the possession, the lines that we create, the gaps, the pockets that we find in our possession. And we play, in my view, a really good football today.
Can I ask you, obviously you had that very difficult kind of pause to the game where obviously things were happening in the stand. I mean, were you pleased with the way your players seemed to come back ready as soon as the game came back?
Yeah. And credit to how they reacted to what's happening in the stands, and credit also for Andrea, the referee. He made the right decision. There was no condition to follow the game. He stopped the game. He speak with us. He explained what's going to happen, and thank God the fan is stable and good, and this is really good news.
And just last one from me. Obviously, you made no substitutions today. I mean, you must be. Are you kind of happy with the players' fitness out there? Obviously, you had a couple of players that only played on Friday, and Romero and Emerson.
No, the idea was clear. I think we were controlling really well the game, and I believe that with all the international break, disruption that they have, the more time that the players have in the pitch, I believe that it's better for them. So,
Thanks, Nuno. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ali. Charlie Eccleshare, please. Charlie, there?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Great. Congrats on the win. I just wanted to ask about the front four, who looked really dangerous, all of them today. How pleasing was that to see the way they linked up and carried such a threat?
It's good. I think not only the front four. I think all the team play good, but of course we are speaking about Sonny, Harry, Lucas, and Tanguy. I think they combine well. They work very hard without the ball. The way they recover, that they allow them, the mobility they create was good. But everything they did do is because they have a foundation behind them. Skippy and Pierre really did fantastic work.
Okay, thanks, Charlie. We will leave it there. Thank you very much,
Thank
everyone.
you. See you soon. Thank you.
One interesting thing I want to talk to. Obviously, a lot of people have criticised Nuno yesterday for his lack of substitutions. We made no substitutions throughout the game, and I think I never thought physically we looked on our feet or anything, but I did feel like obviously the last quarter of the game when we were dominating without really creating chances, you're feeling like if we just get one or two attackers on, or an extra of energy or creativity to really just put the game to bed, that could have benefited the team. But he was asked about that in the press conference. He said we were controlling the game really well, and I believe that with all the international break disruption, the more time the players have on the pitch, I believe that it's better for them. But
I just felt we needed some more energy going into those last 20, 15 minutes. That's what I felt watching the game on the pitch.
Him doing that, I understand. He always says like Spurs have to use the competition and everything to as training and whatever in a way, but like by saying the more time on the pitch, the better. It's like I feel like he's like saying he's willing to kind of risk the result in a way to to make sure that
For
they're
the
getting
longer
their
term benefit of the
yeah,
team.
in a way, it's like kind of if you get to the root of what he's saying, because I feel like we should have. I feel like it's not necessarily not even for fitness reasons we should have taken them off. I feel like it's more just get if we had, for example, Tongi for the last bit, right? He wasn't really doing anything in the final third. Get Lo Celso on, maybe provide another spark. We just get that fourth goal and just kill the game immediately. You know what I mean?
Completely agree.
Why settle for just controlling the game and not creating anything just because we're in control? Why not kill the game?
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's why I had a bit of a...
Exactly. That's exactly what I was saying. And that's exactly the way my thinking was. Is like, I felt in those last 20 minutes, those last 15 minutes, we just needed that bit more energy on the pitch with some tiring players, Romero, Emerson, and Ndombele, a few other players just looked a bit tired. And I thought...
Just went a bit stale for a bit.
With a bit of energy and a bit more extra injection, we could have gone on there and proper killed that game, and we wouldn't have that kind of nervy last 5 minutes than we had.
Exactly. So, and also, if by that logic, surely getting giving Bergwijn a few minutes as well could have helped him.
Exactly.
Like in the long term. So, like, I don't understand why not make a couple of subs or
even to bring
sub.
a Brian Hill on or someone like that.
Just
you know
even,
what I mean?
I'm not saying make 3 subs, but like just make 1 sub, get a bit more impetus back in the team.
Yeah.
Didn't understand that.
Completely agree on that.
Yeah,
Anything
yeah.
else from the press conference you want to touch on?
And he also said, asked about why the front four, looks so dangerous. He said it was good, but everything they did was because they had the foundation behind them in Skippy and Pierre, who did some really fantastic work.
Yeah,
and I think that's absolutely
shame
right.
he didn't realise that before the Arsenal game.
Yeah, honestly, and to be honest, I think he did, because obviously we started the season with Skip and Højbjerg, but I think he just in his mind felt like, I don't know whether it was instruction or whatever, but he was always giving, and obviously he had problems with Ndombele, didn't he?
It was the Palace game, right? The Palace game, Skip had he was a poor game, probably his poorest game this season was Skip against Palace, right? And then he comes out the team for Chelsea and Arsenal. I mean,
completely wrong, yeah.
Yeah, it was a completely wrong decision. I don't understand why he took him out. I believe if we would have had Skip on from the start in the Arsenal game, we would have been very competitive in that game.
Yeah.
Or a lot more competitive than we were anyway.
Yeah, and I just think the balance, I think he's been trying to find the balance all season. And he started the season with Højbjerg, Skip and Dele. And then we were very, very solid, but we weren't creating anything. And then he tried to go a bit more the other way. And then he took out Skip, and he had Højbjerg and Ndombele and Dele, and then he was like, okay, we're going, but now I think he's found the right balance.
Completely agree. Let's start bringing on some guests, and let's bring on the legend that is Waqas. Come on. Waqas, how's it going, bro? You good?
Yes, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
We can hear you
good,
loud and clear, my friend. How happy with you with that result yesterday?
Yeah, I think it was a really good performance. I think like the fans at like St. James's Park, I think that like the thing which I found really weird is that in the first minute or so, first 1 or 2 minutes of the game, Newcastle were really good. Like they were really aggressive, and as soon as they scored, they just sat back. They like I don't know, but they were just, I'm not sure, but like they scored and then they just sat back, which was really weird to see. And then I think that the equalizer from Ndombele was really, really good. I think that I think this was Reguilon's best game so far. I think that and the West Ham game where we drew 3-3, I think those are his best games. And I said this before the game, but I thought that we should have benched Ndombele and played Lo Celso instead. And
but Ndombele played very well yesterday, didn't he?
I know I got proved wrong, unfortunately.
You should be happy that you were proved wrong.
Yeah, okay. Fortunately, I was and yeah, is also I wanted to talk about Oliver Skip today. He was really, really good. I think he was the man of the match because I think without him, I think we would have drew or lost, cause there were like I think Dyer was the only player on the pitch who wasn't like very good, cause he created a lot of space for Newcastle to go and attack, and that was the and that's how we scored. That's how Newcastle scored early on. I think it was Dyer's fault. He left them completely open, and yeah, and Los also skips pass for the second goal. I think it was really, really, really good. I think that now.
Waqas, are you happy with the way things are going now? Obviously, after the last international break, 3 losses. Now we've got 2 wins back to back. Are things finally going in the right direction for Spurs now?
I don't think you can say that yet. I think one more good win, and yeah.
Interesting. We've got a comment here for you, Waqas, and they said, "Why aren't you at school?"
Well, where I live, the weekends are. Oh wait, it's Monday. We have got a holiday.
Okay, are you sure about that?
Yeah.
And what I want to ask you about is Harry Kane. First goal in the Premier League yesterday. What did you make out of his performances? And is Harry Kane back now?
Yeah, I always thought that he was back. Never thought that this form would continue for like more than 5 games. I think that I don't know, cause Kane. I don't think Kane was on a run like recently, like in the past 2 or 3 years. That Kane has been like on a bad run for 5 games. I don't think that has ever happened, and I don't think that will ever happen as well. I think that Kane. I think that Kane always form is temporary, class is permanent.
Exactly right, Waqas. But look, thank you for coming on today. Absolutely great insight as always, Waqas, and we shall speak to you soon. Enjoy your holiday.
Thank you.
See you soon. Come on, you Spurs.
Nice to see you.
Always great to get Waqas on, that is for sure. We've got some guy who's this guy coming on next?
Who is he? He's got on with some homeless guy. Oh, it's Brian Daigle.
Ah, Mr. Levy. Daigle, how you doing, mate?
And Mr. Levy, that two are not 2 of your best introductions, but hey ho.
You're saying our introductions are a bit too nice, you were saying, Brian. So
exactly, I needed to change it up.
Well, that you did. How are you, boy?
I'm joking. Everyone, welcome the great Mr. Brian Daigle.
Thank you. But yeah, first of all, happy birthday to your grandpa for today.
Thank you very much. He's loving all the birthday messages. He saw all the messages coming through yesterday on the stream, and he absolutely appreciates it all and loves all the messages coming through.
And he wanted to say to you, Brian, he thought you were great on the stream yesterday as well.
Oh, well, thank you, sir. It's so good hearing it from him. Hopefully, I'll get to see him again before I go back because it's wonderful seeing him.
Yeah, he was mentioning about the comment you made about how you've met him in real life and what a great man he is and stuff like that. He was very chuffed to bits.
Correct.
But look, you were here yesterday in this seat over here watching the game. Now you've had a bit of time to think about everything that happened yesterday. What are your kind of thoughts about what happened yesterday, about the game?
So first of all, Ollie Skip has to start every single game. It's I think we've seen now how important he is for Højbjerg and the team. And the biggest thing you could say for that is how when he didn't play against Arsenal, like you said before, or Chelsea. I mean, Højbjerg, when it was just Ndombele and Ali, the midfield were missing against Arsenal. And I think we can say that the weakest link is Dele Alli. I think the last 2 games where he hasn't started has been the biggest statement of all when it comes to a player that's definitely not in the first team plans at the moment, because he definitely doesn't warrant it. Harry Kane was a great performance. Is he back? Let's hope so. 1 game doesn't mean he's back. I mean, if he scores a couple against West Ham or against West Ham and then against United, then we can say, yeah, it looks like Kane is coming back. It's just one game. But everyone had a
Harry
great
loves a London
performance.
derby.
He does, but he did against Arsenal or Chelsea, did he? Let's hope the third time lucky. But yeah, I think everyone played well. Dyer was unfortunate with his. I understand the argument for how you can blame him and how you can't blame him, but apart from that moment, he had a great game. I mean, Romero and Emerson, as we were saying in the studio, weren't best the first 10 minutes, but they wised up. And it was the other for Dyer. But overall, I think it was a great team performance, thank God.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's taken Nuno a while throughout the season, but he does seem to now, with that midfield three of Skip, Højbjerg and Ndombele, just found the right balance in the midfield, hasn't he? Does it feel? But do you feel like that's going to be the right balance going forward, or do you feel like, you know, it's only New Villa and Newcastle, and maybe against better teams it might be different?
Do you know what? There's two other people I think that deserve a special mention that really, and they're not the two that you think with Kane and Son. I think Romero for the defence and Mora has really, really got an influence on that team. I mean, Romero seems to have made that defence a hell of a lot better in the two games he's played. Yes, we conceded 2 goals, but the actual the wing backs are playing well. Dyer has, apart from that mistake, had two good games. And Mora is just Lucas Moura, and his work rate and everything is, you know how I feel about him. He's just been superb. So I reckon you've got a real, those, so we're saying the Romero, Skip, Højbjerg, Lucas are essential to me, in all honesty, for that balance.
And Regulon, no?
Yeah, well, the back four, let's say it's sorted, but I'm saying the 4 people that I think have really put the balance into this team are those 4.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But have we got a kind of blueprint now where we can look a bit more like the future of the season and go into it a bit more with a positive mindset?
I hope so. I mean, well, I was talking on streams last night when I got home, and we've got to do some game management now, because that looks like the best 11. With maybe I really want to see Rodon get a chance. Rodon does need a chance alongside Romero, even though I've been saying Dyer has been great. At some point, he deserved that because no one understands what's going on with Rodon.
But it'd be harsh to take Dyer out of the team now, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, hopefully Rodon will have a good. I'm sure he'll play on Thursday in Vitesse. Hopefully we'll have a good game. Maybe we'll have another good game against Burnley, where I imagine he'll play as well. And then we go from there with the defence. But it's good to have this kind of headache, isn't it? Like, who should start there? Yeah, so it's looking good. And it comes to game management now. It looks like this is the 11. And with us being in 3 cups, with the FA Cup coming obviously after Christmas, we've got to keep this team fit for the Premier League.
Yeah.
Got to. And that's where I think the big issue, the big issue for Nuno is to keep these players fit.
Brian, the World Cup is about a year away now. In the World Cup in Qatar. The England centre mid options are currently Declan Rice, Calvin Phillips. You've got Jordan Henderson. I can't off the top of my head who else who plays for England centre mid. Who? Bellingham. You reckon Ollie Skip might be looking at that and thinking, if I keep up this form, I could be on that plane?
100%. Well, I think he's the dark. There's always that little dark horse for the World Cup when Theo Walcott got it and others like that. I really think he has a great shout. I really do. I mean,
Declan Rice, spot, I have to say,
Declan Rice, and I said it during the Euros, was phenomenal. And at the moment, he's outstanding for West Ham. He is becoming quite a player. I think he's nailed on. Calvin Phillips. Yeah, I think if he's going to take a 4, I think that could be the 4. I really do.
What, Rice, Phillips, Bellingham and Skip?
Yeah, but that's central. I really think so, because Henderson will be another year older. He picks up injuries. I think it's a real big shout.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think he will be on that plane. If he carries on this form he's on now, I think that he will get in instead of Henderson.
Do you think Skip, you know, when an attacking player who's about Skip's age is playing very well, like Skip's playing well, they get a lot, especially when they're English, they get a lot of recognition and attention. You know, if there's a 20-year-old English attacking, for example, I know Smith Rowe or something, you know, if he gets goals or assists, he gets a lot of attention. But because of Skip's position, do you think, you know, he's very young, isn't he? He's still 20 years of age. Do you reckon he should be getting more recognition for how he's playing for Spurs?
I really think he should. And like I said at the beginning, I think we've got to look at it and look what a difference as a 20-year-old is making when he doesn't start in the big games, i.e. Chelsea and Arsenal. That's another huge thing to bring to the table, where it's not just his impact on it, it's the impact he's having when he's not on it. And you're right. Look, you look at people like Jadon Sancho and Foden that get all the glory and get the chances around that sort of age group when they're breaking through. Ollie Skip, definitely, when we have these international breaks and if there's a couple of friendlies and not what, he definitely deserves a chance because I think he totally, utterly warrants it.
Mm. Yeah, because
I mean, Bellingham got the chance at 17,
Exactly.
didn't he? 17,
Yeah.
18.
Exactly. And I honestly think you know what, when Mourinho said he's a future Tottenham captain, obviously we heard big things coming out from Skip for a little while. And then my mate Jack, who you spoke to, Ben, obviously was at Norwich and could not stop talking about him. And we're just seeing the progression. And with Jose saying that he could be a future Spurs captain, he's looking every bit of it already.
Yeah, and I just think, I think it's harder to really. It's just been the nature of football. It's always harder to judge these players who are usually better when they're not seen, if you know what I mean. You know, like defensive midfielders, they're usually at their best when you don't notice them too much and they're just going along their work. And I think Skip's doing that so well. You know, how many tackles like he was doing on, say, Maximum and on counter attacks yesterday, and he's doing such a great role for the team. Sorry. I just think it's important. Yeah, I agree with you to acknowledge what a great job he's doing at such a young age. And I thought he was, again, another very mature, very effective performance. And without him, I think our team does look at the moment very, very different. So I think he does deserve a lot more praise in his game.
The other thing you've got to look at is him as well, and I'll go back to a player we signed and it showed how badly we needed that position, was Wilson Palacios. Who I absolutely idolised when he came. That season he transformed us. It just goes to show how vital that position is. And Ollie Skip, and the great thing I'm noticing with Skip, and we all are, is bringing another side of Højbjerg out.
Definitely. We're seeing the kind of side that we really saw at the Euros, didn't we? Where he can he can impact things going forward.
Exactly. I think it's just going to show how important this kid is. 20 years old into the kind of system Nuno's playing. I think he's the perfect player for the system. I like the fact that we went 4-2-3-1. We saw a better Kane because we weren't in a 3, and I think Ollie Skip has got a huge part to do with it.
Yeah.
When it comes to Højbjerg, he does seem to be a much better player when with alongside Skip, and he seems to unlock a bit more attacking, the more offensive side to his game. You know, getting more goals and assists and stuff. But I also feel like it helps him out so much defensively as well. I feel like with Højbjerg, like when we said, I remember at the end of last season, I think we were saying how I think Højbjerg has probably been exposed as not being as good as we thought he was. And I think what we mean by that is that at the beginning of the season he was playing kind of the deepest in our defense, as a defensive midfielder, and he had like some attacking midfielders next to him. And I don't think Højbjerg, he was doing well for a time, but I don't think he's like a Kante where he can carry the defensive can all by himself and he can be that all-action midfielder where he can cover every blade of grass and close everyone down all the time without needing any help like Kante can and something like that. And that's kind of what we were hoping for. And he's not that kind of player. But when you've got him next to a more sitter like Skip, he can actually be a massive benefit to you when he's kind of being that box-to-box, because he can help out in offensive and defensive situations, but he just needs help in both areas of the game, doesn't he? Completely
agree. If you look at it, last season he was doing the work for 3 people at one point. He was all over the pitch trying to sort out the defensive midfield, trying to protect the defence, getting into defence. So he looked knackered by the end of the season. He was superb to begin with, and having Skip there just gives him that extra insurance and security for him to be able to go out forward and have more of an input in the game on the attacking side. So what he's doing, it's incredible. It's incredible. He certainly is having a huge influence on Højbjerg as well as the other way around. Like, who is it that Denmark have him alongside? Højbjerg plays alongside...
Delaney, Thomas Delaney?
Yeah, and you saw what he does there. It's exactly the same. I think it's a partnership made in heaven.
And I think that's... we saw the best of Højbjerg at the Euros, didn't we, in that box-to-box kind of role, not too defensive, but also not too attacking, kind of just like jack of all trades in a way. And that's what we saw Højbjerg as best. And I think that's the role we're trying to get him into now, isn't it? We saw that at the beginning of the season, we're kind of playing him on the right of a 4-3-3, and now in a pivot with Skip. And I think it's unlocking where Højbjerg is at his best, when he's kind of he's got his toe in both kind of areas of the pitch.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. Completely, totally agree.
All right. Well, look, Brian, we're up to 5th place. I know it's only early days, above Man United though. But 5 wins out of 3. With all the, there was so much talk of, Nuno being on his last chance, but just before the international break. This goes to show how quickly things can turn around in football.
It does. I mean, he's had his team for a full week where he's been able to train with them. He's had 2 games, where he's been able to play with them completely together. And now he's got a time where everyone is fit. There's no COVID issues, thank God, after what we thought we might have been. Let's just hope if he can keep them fit, and this is what he's planning to do, there looks like there's something there to build on. But it's about keeping these players fit that we've got because of our strength in depth not being as strong as other teams. So if he can keep this team fit and play Harry Kane as a 1 and carry on doing what we're doing, there's something to be confident about.
But that's what it all comes down to, Brian, doesn't it? It's the strength in depth, because as soon as 1 or 2 players start getting injured or stuff, we're out on our legs, aren't we? And that was proved in the Palace, Chelsea and Arsenal game.
Exactly. It all comes down to strength in depth. We just don't have it, and we haven't had it for years. Especially if Nuno's going to do that with playing no subs, as we saw, then obviously the risk of injury is going to get a little bit greater with people on the pitch that longer. But it's always been an issue, and we just need to address it. Hopefully hopefully in don't know why I'm saying this, but hopefully in January we'll buy some people. I don't know why I've said that. But yeah, we can only hope.
Apparently Ryan Nelson's available.
Oh, fantastic. Well, Mr. Glassby can come back. Wonderful.
And Saha as well. Why not?
Why not? Well, let's just get Gary Lineker out the Match of the Day studio and get him in as the second striker.
Exactly. But look, Brian, always a pleasure to speak to you, my friend.
Looking
forward to getting you back in the studio very soon. And I'm sure I'll speak to you before that.
Oh, well, 100% you will do, guys. Carry on with the great show. Hello to everyone in the chat. And as always, Levy out. Latest, boys.
Come on, Brian. Always a pleasure. Let's keep going. I believe I saw the Joracle in the background. Let's see.
Lovely.
Here he is, the Joracle. How you doing?
Hello, guys. Hey, I'm good.
We rushed you out of the studio yesterday. We've got a bit more time with you today, Jory.
Yeah, I think good. I think it was a good thing anyway. I didn't get the most favorable response in the comments. I thought for my Kane takes. So I think that was fine to keep it short yesterday.
So what's your opinion? What's your opinion on Harry Kane today then? Anything changed?
It's similar. I think maybe I should have worded it different, because I said Kane was, in my view, maybe the second worst player on the pitch. But that's I'm saying that with a team that everybody performed well, even Dyer. I thought, apart from his calamitous mistake there, and I do agree. Actually, I think maybe Brian was saying it. The guest before that was saying it. I do agree that Dyer in general, because of his slowness, leaves too much room. So I do think it's time to try one of the faster centre backs with Romero. I think we will gain something there as well. So, but now we're down to kind of tweaking, and I wanted to say, also, I was reading Ali Gold's piece this morning, and I feel like everything that Nuno and I assume Fabio are doing is kind of it's progression. It's tweaks and we see some some logic being followed through. And they've been we have to remember how absolutely short a period Nuno has had to work with this squad. So he's doing it on the fly really, and we have to. I at least I'm impressed. And like I said yesterday, I think we've got the start of something now, and I just hope that Levy and the board in general will leave these two guys to do their thing, because they're putting more purpose into into our squad situation than we've seen in a long time, I think. And this is even like Nuno. What I love also about Nuno is he's been quite honest about struggling with these factors, finding the right fit and stuff like that. And now we're seeing something form, and it's so us as fans, I think we should be happy that we actually, even though Nuno says very little or is very kind of dry in the press conferences, what he says has some real substance, at least, so whereas Mourinho is always a good entertaining show for sure, but he certainly did not always give you the substance, and he will go out of his way actually to give, almost lie or give you a little white lie at least, so I definitely, I'm happy with just the general feeling. Also, I would also say, like, because you were talking about the subs, and I kind of agree, but like reading the Ali Gold's piece this morning, where there was quotes from Nuno, I also think that there is a logic to Nuno basically using the games as further training, basically further drills and training and getting the fitness up and so on. I'm sure that Emerson and Romero are completely knackered today, but they've also probably, once they recover, their stamina is up to the next level now. So
talk to me, Jory. Talk to me, Jory, about Ollie Skip. We were talking to him before about the impressive performance he's putting again today after a good performance against Villa, and he seems to give such a greater balance to the team when he's in there. And do you think he gets the credit he deserves, Ollie Skip?
I mean, amongst us, yeah, I think so. But I mean, I think he is really, he's a game changer for sure. And exactly like you were talking about, like Brian was talking about, the way that now Højbjerg can be utilized is completely different now, more offensive, and really, he and Højbjerg has a weird kind of creative side to him. He's not the most. He's no Undambele or Lo Celso or something, but he will like have these. He does have a bit of vision in him, so we shouldn't at all discount him there, So I think just the solidity that Skip, like, it's ridiculous that a young guy comes into a team at this level and just shows everybody that he's here, and he doesn't really. He doesn't show the opposition the respect that they would normally demand from such a young midfielder. You can see it with the Man United midfielders. They're always struggling with. They have the skills. It's more like the head and the attitude and like the work rate and stuff like that. That's always a struggle with those guys. But our Skip, he just goes in there and works his ass off and really doesn't, like, you can see every time he kind of takes a man on and stuff like that, he doesn't give them any respect. It's like, you're no better. You might have played here for 7 years or whatever, but now I'm here. Give me the ball, basically. And I love that attitude is definitely, and also, now that we have Romero, I think it's coming a little bit together, because now Nuno has two fast fullbacks, and he can play more like what Nuno loves to play. And then exactly Skip can drop down and like be some security there. And we can see it. We can, like yesterday, we gave Undambele kind of a day off in terms of defense, even though he was very good pressing and all that. But like positionally, structurally, he was almost, it seemed like he had a free role there, So which I think suits him really well, and he really turned up for that. But that free role was not the liability that we've seen with him, or sometimes with Dele, when Dele gives himself a free role, really, and whatever, because they were there every time, And I really have to say, like, Romero really, like, he just spots everything completely. Like he is so many steps beyond, and that, I think it helps the whole back line. Even the midfielders are helped by that, I think, so
Yeah, I do think he's our best defender by some way, Christian Romero, that's for sure. But in terms of Ollie's skip, right? Everyone's saying, he's got to be first name on the team sheet, right? Completely transforms the way we play. Are we risking burning him out a la Pierre Højbjerg last season?
Yeah. We, of course, we are still thin, But what I think now is we have, like, it's a little bit of a catch-22, because we don't have that strong of a squad, or that. Yeah, we don't. We have, like, our second choice in the positions is not the ideal usually. So we kind of have to play our best team as much as possible, at least in the league, So that will, of course, put a lot of physical strain on them. So you just gotta hope that the training that Nuno, the fitness training and all that, is gonna pay dividends. But I do think it's very important, exactly like a skip, the Tanguy role. Like, I think this is our formation now. So I think the cam role, we need to rotate that between Tanguy and Lo Celso. Also, we can rotate the wingers. What I feel worse about is Romero, Emerson, and Reguilon. I don't really, like, for the league, I don't really see how we can rotate too much with those guys. I can see we can do it in the Conference League, of course, but those guys, they need to be there for the whole puzzle to kind of work, I think. But I think also, if you put in a Sanchez or a Roden, I would very much like to see Roden getting in there. Then I think you will relieve. You'll put less strain on both the fullbacks, just on all the defensive duties, really, because then you have another fast centre back along with Romero, So
yeah, why do you think Roden hasn't been used so much?
I don't know.
Always continually underused.
I'm starting to kind of think if it's the the weird Wallisian humor or something that really goes. But I don't know, because he seemed like, what I saw with him and Bale and stuff, he seemed like a really cheery, fun guy, but we also know that British humor in general can be tricky for some people to understand, and that the various smaller regions can get quite tricky for foreigners to connect to. Nuno doesn't seem like a guy that's laughing his ass off all day, So, and I think maybe it's something like that. I don't know. I can't understand for the life of me if there's a trust issue, because I've never known Roden to really do anything that would make a manager lose trust in him.
It's strange, but it keeps happening. Every manager now.
I
know it's a strange one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird. I can't see it. It's so obvious with Dyer and Sanchez, of course, but Roden, I really, we haven't. He always puts in a full shift, and he really doesn't do that many mistakes compared to the two others. And he's young. He will hopefully get the mistakes out of his game with maturity. Whereas Dyer, you won't. That's not going to happen. Sanchez, Sanchez will be helped a lot by Romero. I think. I always felt like when Dyer and Sanchez were playing together, Dyer kind of took the captain role between those two, and he left him hanging many times. So. But yeah, I don't know. I just, in general, I think whatever the situation there is, I think if you can have the whole back line as super quick as it can be there with a Roden or a Sanchez, then it will relieve a lot of defensive duties on the midfielders. Means that we can be pressing even higher. I think we can smother. Like for example, we're going into both the West Ham game and United. I think though both, especially maybe United, if you put real heavy pressure on those defenses, you will reap reward for sure. West Ham, I think, is more disciplined and better. But once again, I think if you're gonna win a West Ham game, you need to do it with a high press. I don't think sitting back or anything like that, or slow possession. Or, I think we're going to see some. I hope we're going to see some quite action-filled games coming up.
Yeah, and looking at how we're doing at the moment under Nuno, obviously 5 wins, 3 defeats in the first 8 games. The way we've maybe improved since those 3 heavy defeats. Do you see it? Do you see a progression of if we keep this team together? Do you see the progression of the team going up like that, or do you think that what you're seeing on the pitch, maybe you can see maybe against better sides we might get a bit exposed? What do you reckon? What you're seeing?
I mean, of course, always against better sides, you will always have you will always run into more of an individual, difference in level as well. A simple move from Pogba and a great pass, to Ronaldo, and you got a goal. So that's more of a factor when you run into these super teams. But I think in general, we should be able, if we play like this, we should be able to hold our own. And to be honest, I know it's crazy, but to be honest, if I see this kind of play and this kind of work and system and so on, and even if we lose, I won't be too pissed about it, because I will then be watching the same progression. All I ask for is now that we form a plan, form a team, and we start moving in a direction, and that's what I feel like we've seen now from Villa and now this game. And I hope, of course, I think, it's super important to win every game that you can, but I just think like losing the plot once again and trying to go back to the drawing board or whatever, I don't think like that would be the worst we could do. We need to keep our cool now for a bit, I think we've seen this makes sense, you guys watch this, you spend every day looking at the stats and stuff like that. It shouldn't really be a big debate. This is the most sensible kind of system and team we've put out in a long time. So we should keep our cool, even if these games, because they're really hard games. I'm more nervous about West Ham than United, to be honest.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Yeah. So I think West Ham is so solid as a team, and they're so disciplined in their form and their play.
And they're just going to be up for it, aren't they?
No, it's a derby, and they're going to be up for. We're the ones that they want to prove themselves towards. Whereas United, there's the lack of that team cohesion and team discipline, but you have some brilliant individuals though. So of course it's still going to be a tricky game. But we can then maybe make a plan where we kind of, we run at certain players and certain weaknesses in their team, and that might give dividends. Also, United can't allow themselves to sit back against us. They need to come at us, which is going to give us an opportunity, West Ham hasn't been sitting back in general against anybody, but they're more compact. They're tighter for sure defensively. So I think West Ham is going to be more the test, but you never know.
Okay.
All right, Jory. Always a pleasure, my friend. We shall speak to you soon, and have a good rest of the day, my friend.
Yeah, and just to be clear, I freaking love Kane. And Kane is world class, okay?
That's what we love to hear. Come on, Jory.
Love it, Jory.
Come on, you Spurs. And come on, Harry Kane.
Big up to the Joracle.
Do we have anyone else waiting, Jake? No. All right. Oh, so I think anything else you want to cover today?
No. Also, Harry Kane. Going on Harry Kane, actually. One more thing to cover. Where is that tweet? Let me see if I can get it up. It's quite an impressive stat, I thought, actually. This stat. Could we get it up? Hold on a sec. get up on screen maybe. Sec, do you see it? There you go. We'll get it up in a sec. Which is when you think about the stats, it's actually pretty mad. But here it is. Harry Kane has scored 88 goals in 128 away games in the Premier League. That's mad in its own. But he's now the outright second most of any player. So he's only 6 goals behind Wayne Rooney for away goals. He's outscored Alan Shearer away from home, and Lampard and Andy Cole. But
Shearer must have got a mad amount of home goals then.
The rest were at home, yeah. So it was pretty crazy.
That's a mad amount.
But think about 88 goals in 128 away games for Harry Kane. That's crazy.
Very impressive. Very impressive. When you look at Rooney, it's 94 in 243.
Yeah. So and look at the amount of games as well. That's over 100, nearly 100 less than anyone in terms of appearances than anyone else on that list. So he's going to absolutely obliterate that record for away goals. And he got another one yesterday. He's probably going to do it by the end of the season.
Probably. Yeah, I mean, definitely.
Yeah, you'd have to say, go on, what, 6 more away goals?
He's going to do it in the next 3 away games.
Exactly. Come on, Harry. 2 hat-tricks back to back. But yeah, very impressive stat from Harry Kane.
And let's start off at the London Stadium this weekend.
Exactly.
That's for sure.
And yeah, we've just been tagged in something else. What's that?
This is the Doctor getting applause. We should play that.
Go on then.
Let's play this to end off the stream.
Sport Bible. The Doctor in the crowd who helped save. Let me get that full screen maybe. Is that better? There you go. There's the Doctor who was in the crowd who helped save the fans' life yesterday, getting a round of applause. So obviously,
amazing
work from him.
It's just he was he was an A&E doctor that was just randomly sitting very close to him. I mean, you always get these kind of stories, and they're very kind of heartwarming and stuff. So great job. It's great to hear that fan is stable. I'm not sure if he's out of hospital or what yet, but it's great to hear that this guy literally saved his life. Yeah. So
unbelievable. Thankfully, he's stable. Yeah, as I say. So let's hope he makes full recovery.
All right, so that is your Good Morning Tottenham. Stay tuned because player ratings and the 5 takeaways are coming your way today as well. I can't not wait for this player ratings because usually we're just like kind of delve into some crap that's happened, but at least we've got some good ratings to give today. So tune in for that. We'll see you all very soon. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.
Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe and home? To the counting days until the second call. It's gonna break the shape.